Hi everyone, you're all listening again to a podcast of mine. It's called Time to Reflect. And this is my first podcast in a while. 3 years ago I made a few podcasts also that are now on my YouTube channel and on my website that I created today. I want to go back into the podcast mode, but let's go back to the elephant in the room, Corona. The Corona situation. What can you benefit from this situation? Well, first of all, maybe you're in a situation that it's stressful at home because you have to homeschool your kids, the schools are closed, you're constantly together with your wife, you both have to negotiate about who's taking up the task of the kids and who's taking up the task of going into a meeting. It can be very stressful. Then you can have the situation that your financials might not be in order because you just got fired or you have a flexible contract, or in a couple of days you will hear of if that contract will be extended or not, or maybe your employer will go bankrupt. All of that stuff is very, very stressful at the moment. But how can you still benefit from this situation? First of all, I would say get your financial situation in order. That's the most important, especially when you have kids and you have a family. If you're all by yourself, finances is still important, but you go more into a survival mode yourself. You only have to fend for yourself basically, and that's easier. When you have people that depend on you, that gives more stress. People look up to you and think that you have all the answers to all the questions. That takes extra stress, but that's obvious. Still, how can you benefit from this situation? Well, 9 to 5 is basically non-existent. Your employer, if he knows you have kids, he's not going to be thinking that you need to be standby 9 to 5. If there's an emergency situation, he might call you, or he might want to have a Skype meeting or Teams meeting or whatever it's called, He might want to ask that from you, but when you have kids, it's very difficult to combine that. Again, what can you benefit from this situation? How about you learn some new skills? 9 to 5 is pretty much non-existent. It doesn't exist no more because, it's all basically your time. And in that time you have certain deadlines that you have with projects, certain things that you have to deal with colleagues, and certain things that you said you will be doing, so you have to do it. But besides that, and besides the kids and besides your wife, let's say for instance every night you take 2 hours and invest it into a new skill. You always wanted to learn programming. You always want to learn how to fix cars. You always want to learn how to paint properly. There's so many online courses, and also a lot of online courses that are free nowadays. And even if you have a paid online course, here in Europe they're 10, 15, 20 euros. And let's say for instance that you want to learn Photoshop, and you can really earn a decent living with mastering Photoshop. Trust me. Those courses might be 50 to 75 euros. That's still nothing, If that course takes 20 hours and you invest 2 hours a night, then in 10 days you can really do a lot in Photoshop and you can learn a new skill. I'm just saying, I'm giving you a real example. Normally you're bitching about life, maybe 9 to 5, I hate this, I hate that. Now you can sleep a little bit later and still do what you have to do. I'm not saying that you should give up on responsibilities about your work and about your kids and your whole situation, about everybody that's depending on you, that you have to just say fuck it, I'm gonna go my own way. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is this is a great time to learn new skills, because this crisis will go away. It might still take 6 months, maybe 9 months, maybe a year. Nobody knows. We don't know. But what we do know, this will go away eventually. So, and what you end up with is another new economy. There also, from every crisis, there's an opportunity. And I know that you hate me when you're really affected by this crisis. Trust me, I'm also affected by this crisis. I know somebody who passed away from it, and I know that there are also people that are on higher age that are kind of fragile, that I also think like, I hope he doesn't get it, because when he does get it, it's game over. And I hate to sound disrespectful, but you know what I mean. So I also have stress, I also have worries. But at the same time, I think it's healthy to also look at this as a new opportunity. Because normally people grind from 9 to 5. You have barely any time. You come home, you eat, you cook, you clean. You still have 1 hour with your kid. He goes to bed, and that's it. And you've been doing that stuff for years. And years fly away, and there's never any time. Or you really need to plan it, and you need to really motivate yourself to get shit going. But now, you master your own time. Yes, you have responsibilities, and you have deadlines, and you have things to do at work, because your financial situation is the most important. Make sure that your salary comes in. Make sure that what you're doing in normal life, if you can continue. Me, by the way, I'm in IT, so I can do everything over the internet. That's vital infrastructure nowadays. That stuff still keeps on going, so I can still do my work. But after 5, after 6, after the food, when it's 7 o'clock, or when it's 8 o'clock, I have 2 hours. I can sit behind the TV and watch some brainless TV, or I can go behind my computer or open my laptop and just open up a course. Or maybe just listen to a podcast and get myself inspired. This this time that you have to be forced to sit at home, which is basically the lockdown or the intelligent lockdown or whatever you want to call it. This is a perfect situation to learn new skills, to reflect on life, to think about what am I doing for the last 10 years? Where am I headed? What were my goals? Am I hitting those goals? Are those goals realistic? How can I fix the bond with my kids? How can I fix my relationship with my wife if it's bad? I'm not saying it's bad, but it could be, and you could reflect on it, and you could reflect on, the future. And that's a very strange moment in time, because normally we're just grinding our asses off, making ends meet. You got a car, but the neighbor got a bigger car, and I also want a bigger car. Small time shit. I really think that's small time stuff, and that really doesn't have anything to do with what life is about, I think. So this time is a perfect time to evaluate your life, to look at yourself in the mirror and say, okay, this is the situation that we're dealt with, or that we're dealing with. I have no control over this situation. I don't. But where am I going to go from here? And we all have an internet connection. It's 2020. We can all subscribe for courses. There's so many free courses out there. I'm just saying benefit from this, because normally you don't have time. Life is dictated a lot of the time by others, without you even realizing it. And now it's also time to take control of your own 24 hours. If you have to study into the night, if it becomes 3 o'clock, it doesn't matter. If you sleep 7 hours, it's 10 o'clock. You can still wake up and catch a meeting if you want to. Just drink a lot of coffee and keep on going. It's also grinding, but now you're really investing time in yourself. Normally you're investing time in a company. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but you know what I'm trying to get at? This is a time to learn new skills for yourself. This is a time to reflect on yourself. Where you want to go. Invest in yourself. Invest in your family. Invest in your wife. Whatever that means. Just make the best of this situation. And it's easy to say that when you don't have a financial situation that's really dragging you down. I understand that. Hopefully the government is there to support you a little bit, or maybe you can sleep at a friend's house. It really depends on your situation. If you have kids, if you have a home, again, if you're just only fighting there out for yourself, things might be easier. But again, guys, this time will go away. There will be a time that all of this is over. And by that time, the only thing that will be left is your new skills. And you can apply it in this new world, because there will be a new world. And a lot of things will change. I think a lot of people will change after this crisis. And maybe that's the best thing out of this situation. Thank you for listening, and we hope that you tune into a future podcast. Bye-bye.